Hi guys, welcome to the Wrestling Retrospective, and in this video I'll be doing my review of AEW Dynasty. So the first match on the main card, we had Kazuchika Okada defeating Pac to retain the Continental Championship. This was a great match, the wrestling was fluid, and though the pace wasn't as quick as I first expected it would be, the match was still very enjoyable to watch. I really don't have a great deal to say about this one. Pac had a really good showing in defeat. Definitely took Okada to the limit, especially in the opening 5 to 10 minutes where he kind of had control of the match. And it really didn't feel like kind of an Okada match just because of how much Pac was staying on Okada for, I'd say just for the first 5-10 minutes, just absolutely beating the crap out of him. Pac didn't like hit a black arrow or anything, and was only really put Okada in the brutalizer for a few minutes, which kind of took away from the match for me because it never felt like the championship was in jeopardy for Okada. And in a match with such high stakes and almost a dream match between Pac and Okada, you would have expected the title to feel like it could have been changing hands here, but it never really did, which was a shame. But that's my only real gripe with this match. The rest of it was very good. The wrestling was great, and hopefully Pac isn't too much affected by this loss, though it looks like he's, after the match, he kind of took a moment. The crowd was like cheering for him and stuff, and he kind of left and was very disappointed. But I'm hoping this doesn't affect him booking wise, if you will, just about where he is on the card and his appearances on pay-per-view, as he's been gone for so long that I feel like they should be taking advantage of him being back in the company so much now. But yeah, overall, I said it was a great match, and Okada retains the Continental Championship. Following that, we had the House of Black defeat Adam Copeland, Eddie Kingston and Mark Briscoe. Finally, a big-ish win for House of Black on pay-per-view, something that I wouldn't have predicted, and I didn't predict going in, as I just assumed that they were going to lose, because in the past the House of Black have lost such big matches that it's kind of hard to take them seriously as a threat, or at least as a threat that they want to be and how they're showcased, just as they kept losing big matches and losing feuds overall, which was a massive shame. You know, we had people like Buddy Murphy, who was going for a decent feud with Orange Cassidy over the international title. That kind of fell flat a bit. Brody King had a great showing in the Continental Classic until he got to about 9 points, and then he lost every match. So to a point, it was like seeing the House of Black's booking really wasn't that good. But I'm glad that hopefully we're going to start getting it back online here. You had Malachi Black pin the TNT champion in Adam Copeland. So hopefully that leads to a future title match for Malachi Black, as it usually kind of does in AEW. If you pin the champion, you'll get the match. Which I can't see. Unfortunately, I can't see Malachi Black beating Adam Copeland. I feel like he's going to go on quite a long run with the championship. But yeah, the match itself was pretty run-of-the-mill. It was a pretty average 6-man tag match, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It kind of just fit really well as being the second match on the card. But yeah, I'm happy with the result. It was an alright match, and hopefully Malachi Black takes the title from Adam Copeland. But like in my heart, I hope he takes the title, but from my head, I don't think he will. But either way, very happy as a fan for House of Black to be getting a win on pay-per-view. After that, we had Willow Nightingale defeat Julia Hart in a house rules match. To become the new TBS champion, and well done to Willow Nightingale, who can barely speak. She can hold that championship proud for about a month and 3 days or something like that, because I don't think there has ever been such a predictable transitional champion in AEW history. Now, I'm happy for Willow, but there's no way that Mercedes Moné is losing a Double or Nothing. Not in her first match, and with it being for the championship as well, it is incredibly unfortunate circumstances for Willow Nightingale, and they suck completely because I don't like Mercedes Moné. I would much prefer have Willow as the TBS champion, have her go on a bit of a run, but as I said, in my head there is no way they are having Mercedes Moné lose her first match. I don't feel like Mercedes has hit the ground running in AEW the way that she probably should have. You know, her promos are very not good. I'm worried about what she's going to be like in the ring, just because of like all the things that made Sasha Banks what she is. She seems to have lost and left in WWE. But yeah, the match itself was okay. Again, it was nothing much of note that happened. I have no complaints match-wise. Julia had a really good reign, and I'm hoping that she doesn't get lost in the shuffle a bit now that she's lost the title. A bit like how Sky Blue, even though she had a big transition and they made a big thing of Sky Blue becoming that kind of heel, they haven't really done much with her since, which is a massive shame. So I was kind of hoping after the match had finished and Willow was celebrating and then Mercedes came out that maybe Chris Statlander had fucking attacked one of them. I was literally shouting for it because, I don't believe that Monet and Willow will draw the way they want it to just because of the fact that Monet is very mid. And I thought it was surprising at first that Monet wasn't going into the women's world title scene. But it actually makes sense now why they're going to have her in the mid-title scene, because she's mid at how she's been so far. Other than dressing like a CEO, she's been pretty crap. Her theme is really annoying, and yeah, just nothing about it for me is very good. And as much as I really want Willow to win, as I've said, I can't see Monet walking out of Double or Nothing without the TBS Championship. So, as I said, it was an okay match. I think the more the talking points came after the match as far as Monet and Willow and Julia go. But, the match was okay. I have no complaints, but I just worry for what comes afterwards because I'm really not that interested in Monet versus Willow. After that, we had Roderick Strong defeat Kyle O'Reilly to retain the International Championship. Don't get me wrong, this match was really good and one of the better matches of the night by this point. However, it just really wasn't my style of match. I found myself getting a bit distracted at times. The wrestling was quality, the strikes and targeting of limbs was really good. Obviously, Kyle targeted Roddy's arm was perfect, and Roddy targeting Kyle's neck was good. So it all led really well. They had a really good sequence of strikes, which earned an applause from the audience, and it was fully deserving. It was a really good sequence of wrestling. Wardlow got involved at one point, and it seemed really pointless. He didn't really do anything at all. Kyle had a really good showing in defeat, and I think after all of this, I feel like he should just join the Undisputed Kingdom. But I don't feel like there's going to be nothing else much for him to do after this match. I feel like just joining the Undisputed Kingdom with Cole and Strong would just make the most sense. I feel like it should have been that from the start, really. I wasn't really interested in this match feud-wise going in, as it felt very thrown together. But yeah, I was a really big fan of the Undisputed Era in NXT, so for me it just makes the most sense to have Kyle and Cole and Strong be together rather than them having feuding. But yeah, after a good match, Strong was celebrating, and Adam Cole came to the top of the ramp and walked out of his wheelchair. He did give a massive death stare to Wardlow, so whether that's going to be Cole's first feud once he's cleared, I think would make the most sense. Maybe do that at Double or Nothing. If he is cleared to compete, do Cole versus Wardlow at Double or Nothing, then have maybe MJF return at Double or Nothing, and then have Cole versus MJF 2 or 3, at All In, where it all so it all comes full circle, if you will, between MJF and Adam Cole. I thought would be really cool. As for Roderick Strong, I'm not sure who he faces now for the international title. I feel like it's a title that anyone can just ask for a match and they'll get it pretty much. But it's a working man's title, so it makes sense that would be the case. And as for Kyle, I can see him getting lost in the shuffle a bit, I'm not going to lie, unless he turns heel and joins Undisputed Kingdom, which he should 100% do. But yeah, as I said, the match was good. Not really my style of wrestling, but good nonetheless. I appreciate good wrestling when I see it. And yeah, Roderick Strong is still the international champion. We had the shocking result, probably the biggest shock of the night, where Chris Jericho defeated Hook to become the new FTW champion. And for me, the main point of this wasn't the match. The talking point was just the result itself. The match was good. I preferred the first match when Hook just beat the shit out of Jericho for a while, but the main talking point is why Jericho won. In what world does this help Hook in any kind of way? Even if Hook gets his win back, he still lost the title to Jericho on pay-per-view. Both of Hook's wins are going to come probably on TV, whereas Chris Jericho got the bigger win on pay-per-view. This is so nonsensical, in my opinion, and it was so unnecessary. We didn't even need the match. Hook already beat Jericho. Why would Hook need another match? I look back to feuds like with Eddie Kingston and MJF, where Jericho just had to get the win of the feud. And it's ridiculous. The decision just, as I said, it makes no sense at all. And it's just stupid having Jericho win the title. He doesn't need that title. He doesn't need the feud with Hook. If he's so desperate to stay on television, have him face somebody that's either younger than him like Hook and have him elevate them to the next level, or have him face somebody on the same level as him where a win or loss doesn't matter as much. But yeah, for me, this was such a massive shame for Hook, and we know at some point he'll probably get his rematch and get the title back. But at the end of the day, on pay-per-view, Chris Jericho gets the win over a younger guy, Hook, and it's just unnecessary. Didn't need to happen. Jericho didn't need this at all. And I think it's just a lame excuse to have him on TV. Following that, we had Toni Storm successfully retain the Women's World Championship against Thunder Rosa. I thought this was great. I thought this was Thunder's best match, probably since Britt Baker at St. Patrick's Day Massacre and the unsanctioned match, in my opinion. Toni Storm is always great, in my opinion. I don't think she put on a bad match this year so far. The women low-blowing each other is now a thing, apparently. Thank you to Ariana Grace and Gigi Dolan in NXT for that. But yeah, it made me chuckle when it went down, and at least it answers the age-old question on if that hurts or not when a woman low blows another woman. But it's yes, by the way, in case anyone was wondering. But yes, Storm spent the majority of the match on the back foot, which was quite an unpleasant surprise in my opinion. I expected a more even match between the two, but I don't know, it was better than I expected, but also way more one-sided. It felt like Toni Storm stole the win rather than it be quite an even match. I don't know if that was a way to make Thunder Rosa look good, but yeah, I can see at some point them doing like a Toni Storm versus Thunder versus Deonna versus Mariah for the title, maybe at Double or Nothing. Once again, we get to the end of a women's title match and we still have no return of Jamie Hayter, which is added to the further disappointment. But overall, it was a great match. I very much enjoyed it, and as much as I want Toni Storm to batter everybody she ever steps in the ring with, that isn't going to happen. And as I said, she did, spend this a lot on the defense, for this match, but it came away with the win, and that's all that's important, because as long as Miss Toni is on top, then that's good for AEW in my opinion, because she is the best part of AEW by a country mile, with probably Will Osprey and Swerve coming in a close third and second. But yeah, it's a great match. Very much enjoyed it. Thunder absolutely killed it. Even though I wasn't expecting it, I'm not a massive fan of Thunder. I have to give her her props. And yeah, it's a very good match. And I look forward to seeing who Toni will face at Double or Nothing. Following that, we had Will Osprey defeating Bryan Danielson in what was by far the match of the night. And yeah, what a match it was. Just classic wrestling at its finest, and the wrestling of the highest order from both guys. It was a classic in my opinion. I can't go through everything. The whole match and the storytelling in the match of a whole was a highlight. But the finish itself was a talking point. Did Osprey know that Danielson was pretty much down and out? Probably not. But the way it's worked out, whether it's a shoot or whether it's a work, makes for a great story. We have the Blackpool Combat Club and the Doncaster family feuding anyway coming out of this, because we've got Will Hobbs versus Jon Moxley on Dynamite, as controversial as it seems to be at the minute. But yeah, in the moment, it was clear that Osprey didn't see Danielson was not okay. Danielson made it to his knees to set up nicely for the I forgot what his finishing move's got now, but for his finishing move anyway, for Hidden Blade, that's the one. If Danielson probably hadn't have got to his knees, he probably wouldn't have done it. So I don't know. Part of me feels like he probably was fine for the most part until Hidden Blade was hit. But if it's a shoot, then of course I hope Danielson is okay. But if it's a work, then it bleeds swiftly into the possible, or at least the possibility, of Osprey versus Moxley at Double or Nothing, which I am fully up for. It's a match that I've been hoping for since Osprey joined AEW. I know they had a match in New Japan. I haven't seen that match, so for me, I really want to see it in AEW, and I feel like Double or Nothing would be the best place to do it. Especially as if they are building Osprey for All In, a win over Moxley would be huge, but I'm not sure whether New Japan would be happy with Moxley losing, being the IWGP World Champion. So either way, I'm not sure, but I don't know, like, for me, Osprey is having match of the year candidates almost every week, but this is definitely one of them that will definitely be in the conversation come the end of the year. But yeah, I mean, it raises his momentum, more the closer we get to All In, especially with such a big win over Danielson. I'm assuming that's what all these wins for Osprey are leading to, which will be a world title match at All In, which I am fully up for, especially if Swerve is still champion, as one of the matches I 100% wanted on the card for All In was Swerve versus Osprey. So yeah, I think for both men it was a match to definitely be proud of. The finish helped the story of the match along as well, and hopefully we get to see these two have a rematch again in the future. Next up, we had the ladder match for the vacant World Tag Team Championships between the Young Bucks and the FTR, which was a great match that the Young Bucks would come out in the end and winning. And yeah, this was probably my favourite of the 4 matches that FTR and the Young Bucks have had. The crowd was really quiet though throughout. I found it very weird. I just assumed that, or do wonder if that's because they were all chanting CM Punk at the Young Bucks, so Tony Khan just turned them down. It wouldn't be a shock to me if that was the case. But the match itself was a car wreck, but in the best way. You know, it's the way ladder matches should be. It's been a long time since we've seen a ladder match that wasn't just Money in the Bank in WWE. And yeah, I mean, I don't see why we don't see it very often, more often, because this was really fun, very much enjoyable. The pile drivers on the ladders looked awful. You know, Dax was pissing blood. You know, table spots all over the place. It was brutal throughout, and I absolutely loved it, in my opinion. And then we saw the return of one Jack Perry. The scapegoat is once again All Elite. Not their thing, but obviously he's ripped up his contract and that. So, you know, I do wonder what this means. Obviously, he put up the hand gesture for the Elite as well, so maybe he is one of the newest members of this version of the Elite. Hangman Page is someone else I would like to see join this kind of group, even though they suspended him. But yeah, I feel like they could have made a bigger deal of Jack Perry returning, other than just him getting arrested and then leaving. They didn't really make much of a spectacle of it like I thought they were going to. It felt very brief in the moment, but I look forward to seeing what this results in, and I look forward to see what happens on Dynamite and whether Jack Perry will be there or not. But yeah, I think the match itself was probably one of the better matches of the night, which I assumed it would be. I really liked the fact that they sequenced Osprey, Danielson, the ladder match, and then the main event being Strickland and Joe, one after another, because it was just banger after banger after banger, in my opinion. But yeah, I said overall, the match was great. I look forward to see what the Bucks do as EVP World Champions. I'm sure they'll make some very good stories out of it, or at least better than the ones they've been doing to get to this match. The bloody footage. But yeah, you know, I enjoyed it, and yeah, this is about it really. I don't really know what else to say. And finally, main event, we had Swerve Strickland defeat Samoa Joe, and what a moment it was. Well-deserving victory for Swerve Strickland. And yeah, just a brilliant way to top off a great night of pro wrestling, in my opinion. The match was really good. It didn't go as long as I thought it would. I think it only went about 20-25 minutes, but it was action-packed throughout. The bumps on the concrete sounded awful. You know, Joe, you could see the kind of desperate will he was going for when Swerve kicked out of the Muscle Buster. And yet you could tell throughout the match that both guys had done their homework on each other. Joe looked very good in defeats, and I'm unsure where he goes from here. But as for Swerve, I can't wait to see what's in store for his world title reign, as I'm sure it's going to be very good. You know, he's over massively with the fans at the minute, and I feel like he's going to be one of the biggest babyfaces in the company's history, let alone just in the company right now. But yeah, I'm assuming that there's a certain cowboy who's been around for a while, who isn't happy about this result at all. Maybe they'll do Hangman versus Swerve in some kind of stipulated match at Double or Nothing to kind of top off their feud. But for me, this is one half complete of the All-In main event I have been hoping for so much. Osprey versus Swerve, I think, will just be a phenomenal match, and it's one I definitely want to see in person down at All In. So I think it was a great way to end the show, and yeah, I said all positives from me throughout this one, and yeah, well done to Swerve, the first ever African American world champion, and something that you know, him and the company can definitely be proud of. So my thoughts and opinions on AEW Dynasty last weekend. I do apologise this is going on Tuesday instead of Monday. I was very tired as I didn't watch the pay-per-view live as I was working, so I watched it on Monday, and then I was very tired, so I recorded it on Tuesday. But yeah, what did you think of Dynasty? Do put down in the comments. Where do you think Swerve's title reign's going? Who do you think he's going to face at Double or Nothing? What do you think of Jack Perry coming back? How much of an impact do you think he's going to have on AEW now he's back? And all the other, anything else you want to talk about? Let's talk about it in the comments. You know, why not? I do appreciate the feedback I've been getting from the draft video I did only the other day. A lot of views, a lot more views than I thought I was going to get, so I do appreciate that. And yeah, I'll ask you to like and subscribe, all that good stuff. I do apologise for the blank walls in the background. I am in the process of moving, so yes, I do apologise. It all looks all blank. But yes, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you again for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.